Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Fivers Futures Live. I am Dave, your host, and it's going to be another fun and exciting one. Today, we have some fun stuff for you. We have a little bit of trivia coming. We're going to take a look at what the leaderboard's like on the Trading World Championship. We're going to see where you can bet, and then we're going to announce once again our 1v1 coming up. We're going to talk about the mechanics, because we have that coming next week, and it's going to be very fun and exciting. You're going to have the opportunity to battle me and any one of the hosts that we currently have. And if you can beat the host, you win a free account. So that's going to be a fun and exciting one. Let me know, as usual, where you're watching us from. Let me know what you're watching, what your week's been like. We are here for you, so shoot, don't hesitate. Add it in the comments if you have questions. Don't hesitate to let me know. And then we'll see if we got some opportunities today. I see the markets are moving a little bit. The NASDAQ equities have been starting to shoot up. So we're going to take a look at that in a few. And then I should be joined shortly by our co-host. In the meantime, let's take a look at these leaderboards. Let's get this going. All right. Cool graphics from our team for this trading championship. Let's look at the leaderboard. So starting June 22nd, we have the 1v1 coming up. And then this is what I'm interested in, the predictions. Who's leading here? By the way, remember, I'm going to add this link in the description for you guys. All right, just added it. And remember, you can go in, vote for your team, and you could possibly win an account. We had somebody tell us they won an account the other day. So, all right, Iosa, oh man, he's won 7 bets. Awesome. Let's look at the prizes. So prizes for the future side every day. So the daily raffle, if you vote, you get a chance to win a 25K day trade account. So then we'll keep on going in the round of 16. We'll have more accounts coming for all of you. And in the finale, we'll have 25Ks and 50Ks, right? And also with Trade the Pool and the Fivers, you can win multiple accounts. So this is awesome. This is awesome. I added the link in the chat. You could just go in. Let me log out. You're going to be able to see. You just put your name and your email, and that's it. You can win just with that. Okay, guys, let me know who's here. Let me know who's watching. We're going to talk about Quadwitching in a bit. But before I start, I have a little bit of trivia for you guys. I could give you a quick preview. This is the first question, trivia question that I'm going to have for you guys. But we'll do that in a few. I hear my doorbell ringing. That means somebody's here. We're going to bring that person live in just a sec. Let me know when you're ready. And here she is, as usual. We celebrated.
Mexico won.
Yeah. I didn't watch the whole game. What was the final score?
1-0.
1-0. You didn't bet on the game. You didn't predict. You didn't do a prediction.
No, I totally forgot. I was watching a movie with my mom. I quickly went to go walk my dog because the game was gonna start in 30 minutes.
Okay.
And then she had me do something online, and I just completely forgot.
Totally forgot. It's fine. Yeah. It's fine. We're doing these every day, so
yeah, I'll do it today for sure.
Yes,
How are
indeed. Yes,
you?
indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Um, oh, everybody's rolling in. Everybody's rolling in. I see the doorbell again. Somebody
Oh,
else is in the house. Let me know when you're
party.
ready. It's a party. We're gonna celebrate again.
Hey,
Gonna
hey, what's up,
celebrate
guys?
again. How you doing?
Doing good, man. That's a very royal entrance. Entrance. I like it.
As usual. As usual. As usual. We got to celebrate it.
Love it.
Um, yeah. It's how what was I gonna say? Yeah, holiday here in the U.S. But we're here, we're live. Oh, we have the cat. I can't seem to remember your cat's name.
This is Cleo. Let's see if she can do
Cleo.
the.
Aw.
Sometimes
Cleo.
she hangs out
Cleo.
on my shoulder. We'll see. Maybe
All
not this
right,
morning. How we
Cleo's in
doing,
the
guys?
house. Cleo's in the house. All right. I have a little bit of trivia for everybody. I'm gonna wait until people come in, so we can talk about this quad witching thing and its effect. So the first question is going to be this one. We're not going to reveal the answer yet, but we want people to know, what does witching refer to in the financial markets? Is it four central banks meeting on the same day, four major stock indices hitting new highs, four types of derivatives expiring simultaneously, or D, four trading halts occurring in one session? This is like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but you get to trade and become a millionaire. You don't win. So we'll see.
That's
We'll
awesome.
see. We'll bring this up in a bit. But in the meantime, how you guys doing? How you guys doing?
It's
Well,
Friday, so doing good.
exactly. I,
Yes,
I
indeed.
survived the week, Dave, so I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good and ready for a 3-day weekend into a nice, fresh start.
Nice, 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 nice. Um, True. Today is Juneteenth. For those who don't know, this was how do I explain this simply? We explained it yesterday quickly, but it's basically when the final day in which slavery was abolished here. So that's
Awesome.
over generally a good thing.
And always a good thing, I would say. I can't think of a single instance where that wouldn't be. So yeah,
Indeed, indeed, indeed.
a good day to celebrate. I always forget what exactly Memorial Day or Labor Day. Like I know the general concept, but tying it to a specific event or something. This is a lot more tangible. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you guys. I'm always down for another vacation day, another day off from the markets, and for a
Totally.
good cause.
Indeed.
Let's do it.
So, did you guys know? I was looking at that. Did you guys know the U.S. has the least holidays around the world? I found out recently. I didn't know, but yeah, I think it's 10 days total during the year. But even China, which I think would be the opposite, but hey, has a couple more not trading days, holidays.
Oh, that's interesting. I
Yeah,
guess maybe I just believe it in a sense that they don't want to give us them days off here. Maybe over there they're a little more.
it's like whoosh, work.
A little more
Um,
socialist, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know. That's
yeah.
only
So I didn't
10.
know. I can't remember where I saw that, but I saw that recently. I was like, man, this is interesting. Anyways, you guys looking to trade anything today, or just gonna be watching overall?
Well, last night I placed a trade. I was shorting MNQ,
Mhm.
Don't be
and
shy, guys. Pull up the screens. Show me
oh,
where you got in. Show me where you got out.
yeah, I show you.
You know I'm nosy.
We should share it anyway. Where's the
Yes,
chat?
indeed.
Is the chat activated?
The chat is activated, but I think everybody's still, gathering
Sleeping?
their coffee and getting ready.
That's
Mhm.
understandable. It's a little early. We'll
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
we'll
You
get
know what? Let me double check because last time I wasn't seeing any comments. It was my fault. The chat wasn't active. So I'm gonna go double check really quickly. Oh, she's already in the trade. I love it.
Yeah, I'm debating whether to get out or not because it looks pretty bullish. Like it looks like it's holding, and I'm risking this little area here of resistance, but I have a feeling we might keep going higher. I don't know why I have that feeling.
Let's see. Let's see.
It's a good inkling. I think I'm with you there. I'm just pulling up all my charts and everything. So bear with me one moment. I'll get those up for y'all. But yeah, I'm seeing a big level here at 75.65 ES. If we can get through that, then I do see liquidity stacked up to 7,600, and I'll explain what that means as soon as I get my screen up too. In
Yeah,
general,
so you
good
know
stuff.
what's interesting? My
And
my
that's not active.
Discord,
It's my fault.
I'm flat. I'd rather take a $70 loss than a $100 loss.
Yeah, definitely.
My Discord will challenge me sometimes, and they'll be like, "Oh, like, why are you, you know, only taking profits at that level? Like, you should hold longer, or why are you, shorting here and not there, or why are you taking shorts instead of longs, or whatever." So last night I was feeling good. Mexico was playing, whatever, and I wanted profits. I think down here. Or maybe no, actually, yeah, this is the 15-minute. So I wanted profits here at this level because I don't want it to hold this level and keep going. And I moved my risk into profit. I was in profit like maybe $20. And actually I sent a screenshot. So let me pull that up.
1 second. Sorry, guys. I realized I didn't activate the chat once again.
Oh,
So
I
my bad.
told
Now,
you.
yeah,
Alejandra.
I'm like, why is it
Good
so
catch.
quiet? But yeah, it's activated now. So you
Cool.
guys can fire away. This way we can, start the trivia and you can add your answers.
Cool.
Yep. When we're ready. Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah.
No, it's okay. So watch. Can you see my screen
Yeah, I can
shot
see your
here?
screen now.
Okay. Oh, this is the second one. Okay. So I shorted right where the red line is at what, 625, 36.25. And my original profit target was gonna be here at 343, which is, let me see where that is.
So lower. You said 343
Yeah.
or 543.
Why does it say 343?
Yeah.
Right
By
here.
the way,
Where the
guys, refresh the page so that
yeah.
the chart can be, I mean the chart. Are you trading obsessed, Dave? The chat can be activated. Hi, Tay Keith. Welcome. All right. We're
Morning,
good to go.
Tina.
There we go. Now we got the comments
Yeah,
in the
now we're
chat.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured we were a little too quiet.
Yep.
Your
Yeah.
site is
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you again here, but please show us these screen grabs. I love it. I love that you're taking screen grabs and
Yeah, I was showing
re-analyzing the trade.
my Discord. So yeah, my stop was at 709, and then my profit target, I wanted it to be at this little area of support here. And it looks like it's 343. I don't know why. Did I really aim it that low? 343. Yeah, I did. I aimed it this low down here.
Mm.
So then my Discord's like, "Oh, why don't you aim for the bigger area of demand?" And I said, "Well, because I don't think it's going to reach that far down.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to be greedy. I'm just trying to take a little pullback here, and plus tomorrow's Friday, and anyway." So I decided to swing the trade overnight, and of course we did get the pullback. And I remember going to bed. I was up $400, and instead of me closing the position at 400, Steve, we were just talking about this, and I was only
Mhm.
in with one, so it's
Yeah.
not like I could trim the position, right? Like
Right.
I said. So I decided to just let it swing, and right when I woke up this morning, I was in profit $160 or 100. I forget how much, but anyway, I decided to take another short at I think it was like here around this area, and I just took a $70 loss just because it looks bullish to me still. Like, it doesn't look like
Mhm.
I, I'll take another trade maybe on the short side if it still continues to stay below this little 15-minute bearish fair value gap. and if it starts giving us rejection here. So I'll keep an eye out. Maybe I'll just take one scalp and then risk above these highs over here.
I like that. A few things that jump out at me. One, I'm curious, and I think this is a like just individual thing, but I
Yeah.
noticed you said the 15-minute fair value gap. Good stuff there. Um, do you happen to be able to go back to the last chart just so we could see that gap again?
Yeah, the screenshot. I
Oh,
think
this
that's a
good.
very good one. Learning experience.
Also,
Showcase.
your candles make me hungry. They remind me of Mike and Ike's, those old candies. You know those purple and white candies. You know what I'm talking about? Your
Yeah, I
face
see
looks
what you're
so shocked.
talking
You
about.
never heard of those?
No.
They're really good. I used to have them at the
Oh.
movies.
No, wait, no, yeah.
I'll,
Wait,
I'll, I'll I'll
where
pull up a
the heck
picture
did
of the
my
box of it.
screenshot
You'll be like,
go?
wow.
I
I
moved it
just
out of the screen and
I
for
just saw it
some
a
reason.
second ago. If you're on Windows, press Windows tab and you'll see all your tabs.
No, she's on
Yeah, it's
Mac.
not here.
She's a
If you're on a Mac, it should be what's it called?
command or whatever it is.
Command tab
Apple. Yeah,
or
Apple tab.
Apple tab. Yeah, I used to be a Mac guy forever, and then I defected.
I pretend
Well,
like I don't love them,
I
but I do.
swiped it like this, and then um
You
Did you
just don't
do?
forever.
Did you do Command tab?
I did. Yeah, it still didn't.
All right,
Interesting.
sorry, basically,
Anyways, it's
put
fine.
you on the
Right.
spot. Regardless,
I'll
you were
pull
you
it up.
were talking about the fair value gap for the 15-minute, and you were using that as a stop. Oh, there it is. Perfect. That works. So I think that rectangle was the fair value gap, and I'm sorry if that was on the screen the whole time. I thought it was on the lower pullback there. Yes. Anyway, so on the bigger one, that rectangle.
Um,
Essentially, how do you decide when you want to put your stop in that fair value gap, and when do you decide you want to put your stop just above the top of the candle structure that formed the fair value gap? Does that make sense?
So when do I decide if I want to put the stop above this versus over here?
Yeah, like when are you like, okay, the fair value gap, it should stop there, and when are you like, okay, I need to put my stop higher above that prior swing high at like the yellow line, for example?
Um, that's a great question. So it depends on the type of trade that I'm looking for. For
Mhm.
example, since it inverted at this level here on the 15-minute,
Yeah,
and then it touches it once, and then it continues to have rejection,
yeah,
I will look for that trade for the previous swing lows over here. So that's how I was able to make I forget how much I made over here, but maybe like $600.
yeah.
And this is where I would place my stop above the box. But if we continue to stay below that box and it doesn't reach it again, that
Mhm.
tells me that there's weakness. So it doesn't actually want to continue to go higher. And I will utilize this area here at 684 as like a major area of resistance.
Yeah.
And if
Nice.
it stays below it, then I'll just continue to short the market or the asset, um, unless it inverts the gap and it holds the gap. And then if
Mm.
it does hold the gap, then we're going higher. And then I don't touch it because, as you know, I'm short biased, and
Yeah.
I just don't like to take longs at that level because we're at a major area of resistance. I mean, how much? Yes, I know. The market is very bullish and it could go higher because there's no major resistance at the top, but we're also at all-time highs. So I just think that the probability of it going lower, for me, in my opinion, is better and higher than for it to keep going higher, especially with the circumstances, right? Like it's Quadwitching week, new chair. It's Friday today. The New York market is closed, so maybe lack of volume. So I just think of all those things.
Good overview. Yeah, there was a few things I was hoping you'd mention. I think you touched on all of them, so really good answer. My favorite being the simple concept of, hey, you recognized really succinctly there, this was the level we broke down from. It retested it and failed again. So now it's not a coincidence, it's a pattern, right? That level
Mhm,
has
mhm.
clearly shown interest. So if we reach back up into there again and still reject, I think that's an
Mhm.
amazing sign that your short bias is still in effect, so to speak, or still
Yeah.
playing out. And I like that it's just really simple, right? Because we know that that's an area of rejection. So if it flips, then we have a clear sign that that trend that big seller that you're kind of riding with there is
Mhm.
no longer as strong. So
Yeah.
one other thing that I like about that is if you used the let's see, it essentially just that I was noticing a couple W patterns there starting to form too. So I think your instinct to just kind of be wary is wise, because this is the place where it could just start to squeeze shorts, and the fact that
Mhm.
you're like, hey, I'm going to take a little loss instead of potentially get squeezed there. I think that's really
Yeah.
prudent and will work out well long term, because I think we're going up here. It seems like we
Yeah.
just kind of pumped on. I'm not sure what this was. I'm going to look and see if I can find news, but it looks like half an hour ago we started getting some big green candles here.
Yeah.
Yep. There's no planned news. I'll see if we just had some breaking news or whatever, but nothing crazy. It might be because there's lower volume, so we're getting higher moves.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I see a couple questions that are very interesting in the chat, so I want to address them. Hello, Peter. He's from Kenya. So super excited to have you here. And I see you're excited for the 1v1s. So, looking good there. But he wants to touch on risk management. What contract side would you use at minimum and maximum on a 50K account? And I think we could each touch on that.
Yeah.
But since we're talking about managing risk, and Alejandro was doing it live, and she's actually trading a 50K account, how do you do that, Alejandra?
Um.
How do you
Uh.
size, and what's your maximum and minimum contract risk, and which do you
Uh.
go for most of the time?
Which do I go for as far as?
I think if he's talking about size wise and
Oh,
maybe
sorry.
type of
Yeah. Like
contract.
how much do I decide of going in?
Yeah, how many
Um.
contracts?
I think it depends. There's so many factors that I think about. I it's not. I don't just think about like the account size. I think about everything. So, for example, how has my week been, right? It's Friday, and I think what matters to me is what day it is, because if it's like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, that's when I look for more A plus setups for bigger size, bigger risk. Wednesday, Thursday as well. But on the days that I don't trade, like Tuesday morning, Tuesday night I trade, but Tuesday morning I don't trade. uh, I am more careful about my size because I need to be in the right state of mind to be able to psychologically handle bigger risk. And if I had a great week already and today's Friday, today I would just be trading just to get my urge out of the way. I wouldn't be
Scratch that
trading.
itch.
Yeah, I wouldn't be trading like my cash account, my real account. I would be trading an account where if I lose a couple hundred, it's not going to be a big deal and I could still enjoy my morning and it's not going to ruin my day.
Yep.
So typically, I will not go more than one micro. And like the setup has to be a B or a C setup. Based on the circumstances today, I don't think we will get an A plus setup, especially because there might be low volume today. But if I do see a setup, like if we do hold here and it does, want to, it's looking bullish and it looks like it could possibly aim for the 760s area, then we could potentially have a nice little push here. But also, we could be like 50-50 at this point. It could either, push past these highs here, invert this gap, and go to this high up at the top, or we could drop below this area of support, come back to um, this level down here, you know, pretty much like just continue to stay bearish, aim for the 343 level that I wanted, and then possibly if it closes below that, then go down here. So for me, I'm looking more for the downside. And if that does happen and we do get some sort of confirmation, then maybe, I will think of going maybe with two. But also, because I trade ranges, right? It depends on how you trade as well. Like, are you trading ranges? Are you scalping? If you're scalping, like, let's say, for example, you scalped
I think
from,
your screen went offline there, but it's fine.
oh, I thought I tried. Let me try again.
We just had your headshot there. Are you blind without glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Kind
too. They
Oh,
had me
really?
take them without them. I'm like, well, I'll just take them with them. I can't see, so
Yeah, no, there's no way. So let's say that that you wanted to trade like this drop here, and um like that's the only trade that you're looking to trade, then you have to think about it. If you're on a prop firm, and if you're going with 5 micros from this level to this level down here, the probability of you making uh, less than 1,000 is very low, right? Because I don't know how much it would be from here to here, but I can't be aiming to make 1,000 plus because the prop firm, I'm going to go over the consistency limit. So you have to think of all these things, like, you know, can I take it emotionally and psychologically too? How's the volume? How's the setup? Is it an A plus setup? Can my psychology bear more than 3 micros, or 3 contracts? Yeah, there's a lot of things that come into play, and I know that was like a really long answer, but those are the things that I have to think about when it comes to managing my risk.
that's a great answer.
I like it. That's a great answer. I
Yeah,
don't know if you want to add something, Steve.
sure,
I'll have my little perspective as well, but I think
Sure.
that was a very good answer.
Yeah, there's not a ton to add. I think that was a pretty comprehensive answer. I'd just say, yeah, for me, 50K account, I'm trading pretty small. Maybe to what some of you might think. I always try to look at like if you have a fast car or if you have a really loud amp, you don't need to crank it up all the way. Just because you have the headroom doesn't mean you need to use it. Just because you have that buying power doesn't mean you need to use it. And I still like to basically shoot for $500 to $1,000 per trade in terms of profit or risk. I'm generally just shooting for one-to-one trades anyway when I'm scalping. Very often it will be a thing where I enter with a couple contracts. Say I'm entering with 4 contracts of MES, and I'm risking about maybe 100, maybe 200 on each contract. So that's kind of my max risk. Just because I'm shooting for a one-to-one risk reward doesn't mean that I can't, leave some on. So maybe I'll take 1 off, 2 off, 3 off, depending on, a bunch of different variables of the specific setup. But the idea being I want to never risk more than I'm willing to, or than my first kind of take profit. And I like the granularity that comes with these micros. So the MNQs or the MES. I might have said mini for the MES. I meant micro.
Micros.
Yeah. So Dave's like risking 100 on a mini. That's
Yeah, I was doing the math, but hey, I was gonna let you finish.
sorry. No, I'm glad.
No, you're fine.
I'm
You're
glad
fine.
one of us caught us
You
before
caught it.
caught me before I kept going.
You caught it.
So yeah, micros. To be clear, and yeah, the granularity there, you can risk between $50 and $100 per contract in general for my type of scalping setups and shooting for that kind of taken profit on the other side of that. For the only other thing I'd say is for crude, I only trade 1 contract at a time, maybe 2 tops, especially because usually when I want to trade crude, something's going on, and
Yep.
it's pretty volatile and it's a little bit spooky. That can move really fast and hurt you. So I just keep it to 1, 2, very at the very max of the MCLs, the micros there as well.
Nice. Yeah, if you're trading the mini, you're risking $1,000 per point, so that
Yeah.
could be tricky.
What
But
you could do as well, and what I heard Alejandro mentioning, well, I'm only in 1 contract, I can't size down. What you can do is if you're trading MNQ, you can take profit there and slap on an MES. That'll move a
yep,
lot less, and it'll
yep,
still move directionally, roughly the same.
yep. Very, very great answers here, everyone. My approach is similar, same but different. I the first thing I'm thinking about is, what is, so say it's a 50K account, you have 4% worth of risk. So that's $2,000 that you can risk. So I base everything off of that, right? I know statistically that I can, on average, I'm a 50-50 trader, and I'll usually, out of 10 trades, based on my statistics, the max I'll get wrong is 7 trades in a row if I'm really trading badly, so that allows me to survive. So I'm calculating the dollar amount on each trade, and $2,000 worth of risk divided by 10 trades is $200 per trade. So I will size based on the dollar amount usually that I'm willing to risk, right?
I like that.
And that varies anywhere from, and I only trade micros because it's just easier for me. I'll trade anywhere from 1 micro all the way to 50 micros. That's the biggest size I've ever done on prop accounts.
Big
What?
baller. Look at that.
No, but it depends, because here's the thing. If I'm, let's say it's a good day, right? And I'm trading well, and I have that buffer. Say I've made, $1,000, $2,000, whatever the amount is during the day, and I'm already in a winning position, and I see, based on experience, this is going to be a trend day. Then I'll keep adding, but I'll keep that risk calculated. So my risk will get tighter, 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 tighter as I'm adding to the position until, maybe I don't even have risk. I'm just, adding. It doesn't happen often, by the way. It doesn't
Yeah.
happen that I think in a year it'll probably happen twice that I'm 50 contracts in. um Usually it's tiny size, and I always say this: I trade different accounts different ways, and depending on whether I'm on or off camera, I trade differently.
I
On
love it.
camera, it's as
Yeah.
disciplined as possible. Even though sometimes I FOMO in, it's tiny size, and I'm usually trading a 25K account. So a 25K, I'm usually entering with 1 contract and scaling in. I don't think I've ever taken more than 3 contracts live. So yeah, I think you should size based on the amount of risk that you're able to take. And then something Alejandro said that's very important. Sorry, I forgot to add you here, is how is your mental state going? How are you mentally this week? Are you able to handle the size or not? If I'm winning, yeah, I'm able to just scale up. If I'm losing, and it's counterintuitive, because you want you start sizing bigger when you're losing just to make it back, but that's not the right approach, and I've done that many times.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're in a winning streak, you're allowed to go bigger. If not, then we're open, guys, by the way.
Um,
Pushing lower. I have
yeah,
this
I
big
like this
50 on my
rejection
chart.
area here. Sorry, Dave, to cut you
Very
off.
good, 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 go.
I'm gonna look for a retest at 650 and take a short position, risking 666.
Ooh, interesting number there. But yeah. All right. As the
Also,
market gets going here, what you were
I
saying?
wanted to, sorry, Dave, one more thing. I wanted to
Go.
ask you, what prop firm are you scaling up 50 micros?
I'll tell you off screen,
Okay.
because we're not going to give anybody free advertising here.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. So it's. I love what you're saying about trading differently on or off stream, because it is
Mhm.
important. I'm trying to bridge that gap or close the gap, between my off stream trading practices and on stream, but it's hard to break. So this is like it's a good time for me to be like, all right, like you said, just keep it honest, keep it tight, keep it disciplined,
Yeah.
and I think you've been trading for longer than me, I believe, right, Dave?
I think
You've
we're
been at
about the same.
okay.
7 years this
Okay.
year.
Well, yeah, so about the same, but you've probably been a little more disciplined than me in the first half of that. So,
Debatable. First three, even 4 years, I was a degen, like, with a
okay.
capital D.
Okay, we're in the same boat then.
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
mind. All right. I'm
Wait, how many
So
years have you been trading, Dave?
7.
Oh, okay. I'm entering. I'm in.
Nice.
you're in short.
Yeah.
I like it. I
I
like it.
like it. Taking
That's nice because we're
trades.
getting that kind of topping wick. They tried to auction above and it looks like they failed. So this is what I kind of needed to see to be looking short as well, just because essentially we got the liquidity window here, even though not cash open when there's no cash market. But hey, it's the same time. There's going to be a little more liquidity coming in there, and well, now I need to look at my chart because Alejandro, I see no volume on yours. I don't know
Yeah.
what
Do
I'm
you
doing.
guys see how, like, if my profit target is like around this area of support, It's only $163. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, that's not even worth it.
Don't look at the dollar amount. Hide the dollar amount.
No, but because like that's
put
not
the
the
points.
trade that I want to take. Like I want to take profits at 400. So the 400 level. So where's that? Down here, right here. So
But
if I
what if
move
you
it
don't get there?
to
You know what I'm saying?
exactly. So that's why I think, right? I like plan it out. I'm like, okay, so if I'm only with one micro, I'm risking $75. Um, it's testing my risk right now. Do I just risk those $75 or do I add if it comes down lower, right? So I'm like starting to think that way. And if I do add, the only reason why I would add is if it does give me rejection, and I will be taking profits at this area if I do add. However, if I do add, once it gets to this area, I will trim one. I'll move my profit target to my original profit target, and I'll move the risk into profit. So that way, if it doesn't go my way and it doesn't continue to drop below the 500 levels, then we just get out at that spot. But it looks bullish still, so
It's
I
not
might just
letting
take.
go, is it?
Yeah, they seem to be buying.
The one thing that I would say is maybe waiting for the candle close would have made it a little easier to discern this, but this is this is not fun. Like it's just mean chop
Yeah.
here. It looked like it was ready to let go, and then finally,
Yeah.
And then I was thinking too, should I aim for above the gap, right? Like how we were talking about earlier? Because if I do, we would be aiming for this area of resistance here. And in order for it to continue to go to the bullish side, it would need to pretty much invert, retest, hold above it, and then go. But I don't know.
We'll have to see. I was gonna say something, but I blanked out in 1 second. Let me just address the chat, and then I wanted to say, obviously, Alejandro, you know what you're doing. You're a profitable trader and everything. But one thing I notice is you're attaching yourself a lot to the dollar amount, and
Yes.
I totally understand it because I'm not gonna lie, I do it sometimes.
Yeah.
But I force myself not to do it because at the end of the day, all you want to do is be taking good trades. You should, as much as possible, and I've written it, behind me, and I need to make it, brighter. It's like process over outcome. The dollar amount shouldn't matter because at the end of the day, right now you're trading one micro because of the account size, the dollar risk, whatever you want to say. But next time you're trading this, and when I'm saying next time, not tomorrow, but eventually you might be entering with 10 contracts. That might be your minimum size, right? And you're gonna say, oh, it was $70 then, now it's 700. So and then next time you might be entering with 100 contracts, and now you're risking 7K. The dollar amount shouldn't matter because it's the same trade.
Yeah.
Right. There's a saying. It says the most misunderstood concept the guy exaggerated. Said human history is the exponential function, and what he meant saying is like today is $70, but 6 months from now it'll be 700, and the next 6 months it'll be 7K. The dollar amount shouldn't matter, right? And I know I'm preaching to the choir. I'm talking to myself as well.
Yeah.
But as much as possible, and I do that all the time. I'll turn on the dollar amount and then I'll hide it. Just like so psychologically, I'm just looking at the trade. I'm not looking at the dollar amount because at the end of the day, at least me, you'll take a trade. You made $100 today. You made $200 the other day, and then the next day you make 2K, and then the next day you make 3K, and then the next day you break even. You make like $10, and then the total amount is what matters, not that single trade. But you already know that.
Yes.
I love that, and I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but just that was the one thing I was gonna mention as well, just because it you mentioned like, oh well, I don't know if it's worth it, if it comes down here, I'm shooting for X amount, and that would be like down here, and I think I get what you were saying. Just for anybody else out there, just if the trade setup looks, whatever worth it is to you, take it. Don't worry about the dollar amount, like Dave's saying. Worry about trying to just do the
Wait,
process correctly.
so
Hmm.
I get it. And I appreciate you guys calling me out on it because I'm pretty sure this is helpful for other people as well. But hold on one sec.
Yeah.
So let's say that we thought about it in percentage wise, right? Like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm gonna risk X percent to make X percent.
Hmm.
Do you guys think like that? Like, for example, the way that my brain processes it in dollar amounts, because I am attached to the money part of it, um, like I need to know how much I'm risking, depending on where I'm going to put my risk and depending on the size. So for me, like maybe it's not so much of okay, how much am I going to make if it does come down to this level. It's more of like, if I'm only in with one right now
Hmm.
and it does go to this level and hits my stop, if I add, how much will I lose if it doesn't go my way, versus how much I will make. So I was risking, or I'm risking $95 to essentially make, how much was it? 170 something, right?
Mhm.
170. I'm
Hmm.
like to me the risk reward just doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I think about it. And so then I'm like, okay, well, then it would then if it doesn't go hit my stop and it continues to come down lower and then we break this level, then I will add and I'll move the risk a little bit lower. And then that's when I do trim if it goes my way, and then if it continues to break below this level, then I will move the risk. And so that's kind of how I think about it. I don't think, I mean, I will pay attention to my mind and the way it works, but I don't think I'm like, oh, I want it down here because I don't want to make 100. I want to make 400. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
so I just wanted to touch on that a little bit.
No, totally. What I would say is it's never bad to think. I always think in risk in terms of how much I'm, well, risking, right? The max risk.
Yeah.
What I wanted to kind of clarify is that I think it is not the best practice to be saying I will take profit when I reach X dollars. It should be I will take profit when X fulfillment is required, when the trade is done, when the trade is
Mhm.
reached a logical target, when the trade
Yeah.
is, whatever it may be. So I think I probably wasn't explaining it as well, because as you were articulating it there, I'm with you. You
Hmm.
gotta be thinking in terms of how much you're risking. I just
Hmm.
I will never exit a trade because I made X amount of dollars, unless it's like, hey, I'm passing an
Hmm.
account, or hey, I had a weekly goal or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
In general, I when that happens, when I hit my weekly goal or whatever, and the trade's still working, I'll put a stop there. So saying, hey, worst case is I meet my goal. Best case is the trade keeps
Hmm.
going. But I never
Hmm.
want to have my P and L. I never want to be playing my P and L instead of the trade setup itself. If that
Yeah,
makes
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
and you know this. I'm saying this
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
crowd. Yeah,
Mhm.
good stuff
Yeah,
though.
I agree. Good stuff though. Good stuff. I love it that you're showing your thinking process. We're being honest here because we
Mhm.
all, we all go through these things. And I'm going to come back to that in just a sec, but I want to, address the chat.
Mhm.
So, I see here, good morning, BTC USD. Welcome back. Good to see you. Andre saying any coupons available for evals. Well, we have something better than coupons. You could just go and let me pull up my screen for a second. You can just go. Whoa, where is it? You could just go. I put the link. I'm gonna give the link again in the chat. You can just go bet on a game and win accounts every single day. So you log in, right? You put your name and your email, and we're giving away 25K accounts. So if your team, if your bet wins, you will win an account. We've had a couple people win. We just looked at the leaderboards. So we're giving away accounts every single day throughout this month. On top of that, next week, you can come put your money where your mouth is. You could put your trading skill to a test. We're going to have a link for you to register, and you're going to battle each and every one of us, or everyone who wants to battle. I know Steve is ready. Look at his handsome picture there. Where is it? Where is that handsome guy? Where's the handsome guy? Where is it?
I don't know.
There we go. Whoa. Look at this trader right there. All right. They made a mistake in your name, just like me. It's not, the last letter is not a B, but whatever. Maybe it's B for billions. Maybe. I don't know.
I was gonna ask, but I just decided to roll with it.
Where's my picture?
We need to get your picture. Where is your picture? I think you weren't there when they made these, but yeah, we're gonna be battling next week, and if you beat us, you win a free account. So, all right, we have where is it? Peter asking, is the futures platform integrated to TradingView since the Fivers has launched the same? Not yet. I know there's a lot going on in the background regarding TradingView, and yes, we finally have that for CFDs, but so far it's just Black Arrow. Minimum contracts on futures is just one mini or micro, so you can't do 0.1 like CFDs. What's up, Colin? Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back. We have Celine Girl, first time watching. Great discussion, great tips. All right, and on that note, we're gonna bring the trivia in because I've been waiting to bring this in. Okay, I prepared this. So
look at that.
Put your answers in the chat. Okay, we have Quadwitching. We're gonna touch on that because that's the topic today. We want to know.
What does the winner get? Sorry, I'm competitive like that. Like, what do I get? Like, what's the risk here?
You get to win the answer. We're giving away a bunch of stuff. Okay, today is just for funsies. All right, I didn't have time to prepare a free account for the chat. It's just for funsies, and the winner gets to watch us and know they got the right answer. All right, so put the answers in the chat. What does quadruple witching refer to in financial markets? Is it A, B, C, or D? We're gonna set the 15-second timer. Put your answers in the chat and let us know what you think it is. Starting now.
So, and interesting because the answer that I thought was correct, four witches getting together on Eve. Apparently that's not even on the table, so I'm going to be learning something here too, Dave.
Nice.
Whoa.
All right.
Dang, that sounds like my alarm.
I know, I got PTSD from my time baking.
I know, seriously.
All right, well, we're going to reveal the answer because it seems like let's see, do we see the comments? Let's see the comments. Okay, we see some of the comments coming in. I'm going to give it a second. I can show it. Where is it? Sorry, guys. This is live. Okay, so Steve, you guys didn't put any answers. You should have put your answers. So
I'm sorry. I can now.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, the timer's off, but it's fine.
All right. It's multiple contract expiries expiring on the same day. I think that was C.
Yeah, let's reveal the answer. And C is the winner.
Well, we got stars and balloons.
We got everything going on. All right. So that was the first one. We got 3 questions. Let's continue with the next one. And fingers crossed, this is just to hide the trade. Hopefully it works. All right, let's look at the next one. So, which month is not one of the Quadwitching months? Is it A, March, B, June, C, September, or D, February? I'm going to give you a second, guys, to put your answers there. Colin said CCC. Congratulations to Colin. I guess it was for the previous answer. But let's see.
I had to double check on this one, too. I was getting confused.
Yeah, me too. All right, so let's see. Ernest was the fastest. Okay. Reveal the answer. It is D, February. And then the last one, this is my first time.
Wait, hold on. Wait, can you explain why?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it. I'm just doing
Okay.
trivia before. We're gonna talk about everything. We're gonna get into it.
Get your
Oh,
journals and your pens out, boys and girls.
There we go.
this is awesome.
And
I have no
yeah,
idea.
Steve was touching on that. Where does the witching part of the term originally come from? Is it superstition? Is it Shakespearean, Wall Street trader's nickname, or a 1920s newspaper headline?
I
Let's
have
see.
no idea, but I'm
Let's
placing
see.
my guess
Definitely
in the chat.
A.
Oh, I can't place it in the chat. I'm guessing B. I have no idea though.
All right, let's see. Let's reveal it. Oh my God, I'm struggling with this in the background. All right, show answer. It is B.
Let's go. That's just
Shakespearean.
when in doubt, go with Shakespeare. You know, they love that stuff.
There we go. There we go.
A.
All right, so that was that quick little bit of trivia here for you guys. We're trying to make this a little bit more entertaining, even though, you know, watching trades make or lose money is very entertaining to me. So congrats to everybody who picked the correct answers. Unfortunately, there's no prize today. It was just for funsies. Unlike Alejandra fired. But
What's in it for me, Dave?
you win knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, well,
That's good too, I guess.
Oh my God, that's
Took
good.
the words
too.
out of my mouth. I'm like, don't say what you feel. That's what I feel.
I'm
man.
so bad. Like I've been streaming live for a couple months now, and I meditated on this. I'm like, how do I want to present myself on TikTok? And it's not that it's just on TikTok. It's just like, how do I want people to know me as, right? Because when I watch other people live, like I watch this girl and she's straight up just like,
Nah,
yeah,
we don't want that.
it's hitting 600 level, you know, and she's just like staring, like not engaging at all. So then I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna be myself. And then I realized, damn, I like think out loud.
No, but that's the best thing.
Yeah.
And I say a lot of things I probably shouldn't say.
No, I think
I don't know about
it's the
that.
best thing.
On
I
TikTok
haven't
Live,
heard
you
anything
haven't
about
heard me, Steve, but you should
What-
join one of my lives.
Oh yeah, does it get a little crazy? Maybe I will. I gotta you gotta get me to download TikTok first. So that's where I'm at. Dave, do you have TikTok?
I've been forced to have TikTok since, you know,
Why?
we manage
Oh.
content here for the Fivers, so we have a TikTok.
I've been forced, he said.
So yeah, you guys know I'm not the huge social media guy, even though starting Monday, and we need to celebrate this. Okay, starting Monday, I will be publicly on social media. Okay,
Let's go.
Ooh, okay.
It's coming, and I'll let you guys know. And I'm gonna have, I think, an interesting approach. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so let's go back. And what is quadwitching or quadruple witching? And I have it there. It's a date on which the contracts for index futures, stock futures, and index options expire simultaneously. Now, that used to have a huge impact on the market back when we didn't have algos trading, where we saw huge increases in volume, right? These days, not as much, but we could make some quick observations, and I'm going to pull them up right now. I had them pulled up. Oh, there we go. All right, so the quad days we've had this year and last year, they occur on the same months every year. So it's the third Friday of these months. So the 18th this year, it's supposed to be today. That's why today is Quadwitching Day, but the market is closed. So technically it was yesterday.
Yeah.
But we don't really see that much activity on the day. We see it in the prior days. At least that's what I've been observing. So if you look, you know, the days were the 18th, March 20th, December 19th, and September 19th. And if I zoom into, you know, the prior days, so let's put, let's say a 15-minute chart. You know, yesterday we had some interesting volume activity towards the end of the close, but I think the real activity was the day prior, right here on the 17th, right? And the other thing you guys need to know in the futures market is positions tend to be rolled, I would say, 8 to 10 days out. So the week and a half before. I don't think people are completely waiting until these contracts expire before they do the rollover. Any thoughts on that, Steve? I see you. Yeah. Let us know.
Absolutely. Yeah, so OPEX, really important for options traders out there because you got to think about it like how I look at it is like kind of like a traffic jam or congestion. So you can think about the date as like you can think about it as like a maybe when you're watching bikers like on a race like Tour de France or something, and there's like a part where it narrows and you see all of the bikers they have to like slow down and go single file almost to get in. So you can kind of think of it almost like that, where all of
I
these
got stopped out.
options,
Sorry.
no worries, all of these options are basically they're expiring by a certain date, so they're trying to reach a certain place by a certain time, and as we get closer to that event horizon, so to speak, that event on OPEX, and you start seeing a lot of interplay and a lot of kind of congestion based on that gamma, as we call it, or the option expiry. So I'll try to make it simple. Say I think for SPX it was 7,500 this week was the pin, which just means that was where most of the options were set to expire. That was where most had been bought in terms of premium, and that creates a magnet as long as we're relatively close to that price. The further we move away, the less important it is. But just like a regular magnet, the closer you get, the more likely you're going to zap up into it. That said, it has a like a midterm magnetic effect, but when it gets really close in positive gamma, you will see profit taking, which is basically, okay, I have a 7,500 call. We're getting close to my price. It goes in the money. I sell it. By monetizing that contract, I'm taking some of that premium that's drawing us up to that level away. So it's kind of a bouncing kind of thing where this is the process that I'm kind of trying to describe as congestion on the tape. Like, all of this flow at this key level, it's making us not be able to just move cleanly through it. And that can kind of happen until all of that options gamma rolls off. And that will happen, next week. But it also, like you said, it happens up into the print. So if we were really far away from 7,400 or 7,500 a few days ago, that magnet would have less of an effect because it's not close enough into that date for the pull to matter. And and the reason why is because, if price is 7,480, on Wednesday or whatever, then they have to really hedge that actively because they're selling me those calls that I'm holding long. If I go in the money, they have to pay me out.
Exactly.
Dealers have to stay delta neutral. If we're 100 points lower, they don't have to hedge nearly as aggressively because it's much less likely to happen.
Exactly.
So sorry for being wordy, but does that kind of make sense there?
Yeah, definitely. Basically, to put it simply, if we're far away from the price, that price doesn't have to be defended, and if we're very close to the price, then that has to be defended, and then you get that, highway close effect.
Exactly.
So yeah, very, very, very interesting take there. I'm not an options trader anymore. I've cried too many tears, but but yeah, the knowledge of knowing the effect of these levels is very important when you're trading, and that's why I love when Steve's here, because we have looked countless times at how, okay, he's calling out a level, and once we get to that price, we will reverse, right? Or we will, get attracted to that. We've done it countless times trading the ES. So very, very interesting point there. What I've observed as well is we will get a lot of let's call it barcoding action on these days. So if I bring back I'm going to bring my chart back. Just 1 second. All right, so let's look at, for example, the ES, and we'll consider yesterday as that day. We could see that, look at how whippy the price action was on the ES, right? And that's what we're talking about. This, to me, is a lot of positioning happening, right? We're not getting clean trends. We're not. And yesterday we were trading together, Alejandra, Caesar, and I, and both Alejandra and I were red because what you would expect is a pullback, a clean move up there, right, and then a rejection of that level, that point of control, and continuation downwards. Well,
Mhm.
we were not getting any of that, right? We
Right.
kept on
Pinning.
oscillating up and down, up and down, up and down. So every time you think it's going to go down, it gets bought. Every time you think it's going to go up, it gets sold. So that type of price action tend to happen on these days. At least that's what we're seeing lately, with without the crazy volume that one would have seen in the past, right? So to me, this is almost a range day, right? If you're
Right.
looking at the range, yeah, it's trending upwards, right? If you're looking at this as the range, but we're not, it's a pretty wide range, but we're not getting clean price action. We're not getting follow through like we've gotten. Well, this was a Fed day, so that's kind of different, but you had a clear trend here
Yeah.
in the day prior, which we didn't get, and we had a clear trend here, right? It was just get long, hold, get short, hold. There, it's like you can't decide unless you really catch a good move, which I did catch this move ultimately, but harder to trade on these days.
Absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head when saying, hey, it's consolidation. And this is a great visual representation of that congestion, that traffic jam that I was kind of describing,
Yep.
where, like you said, you're not getting clean moves in either direction. Sorry. Okay. Wasn't
Oh, you're
sure.
fine. No, I'm
We weren't
just
getting clean moves in either direction there. So it was really easy to kind of see that, well, in retrospect, that we were kind of pinning around that central level, which was
yep,
that 75.50, I believe. So that's just
exactly.
going to show it can't move past there until that clears. So that's going into next week.
Yep. I've just entered short,
Yeah, we're seeing
so
some
we'll
rejection here
see what
at
we
that
get.
fair value gap. So, um, I mean, I could have moved my risk above the fair value gap, and or I could have waited for the rejection of the fair value gap. But these are some of the things that I study and I take into account for like a future trade or a potential future similar scenario. So the reason why I didn't stay in my trade and move my risk above the box is because I don't want to get used to moving my risk. So I rather just get out and reevaluate. And so at this point now, I will look for a 667, not a 666, but a 667 reentry. If this candle closes red on the 5 minute, and then I'll look for an entry on the 1 minute. So let's see.
I love it. Have we talked about, I know I've talked about this on stream before. Have we talked about the devilish nature of NQ as opposed to SPX?
No, we haven't
No,
touched on that.
It loves 666 handles. I do not know
Really?
why. I do not
really?
know why. So there's some interesting things about each of these markets. So NQ loves 666 handles. ES loves the 50 handles. I mean, who doesn't? They're a round number, or the nice psychological number, but they really get magnetized to those 50s. NQ, for whatever reason, loves the 666s. And then Chinese markets love the auspicious, what is it? They have one number that's like for death. I believe it's 4.
I think
And
it's
then,
four. Yeah.
yeah, and then I believe 7 is the auspicious one. There's two numbers like that will hit quite frequently as pivots. And essentially, it's because an outsized number of traders are using those as whether it's their strike that they're buying or selling or X, Y, and Z. It ends up being a high volume pivot. So it's just interesting to note.
Interesting.
So that 667 might be the perfect entry, actually.
I didn't know that. That's very interesting.
Just one of those patterns
Um,
that you pick up. You're like, I must be I
insane.
must yeah, I must be basically this is early onset schizophrenia. This is like that Jim Carrey movie, like where you start seeing the number 23 everywhere.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of the end, which is
Interesting.
jury's still out. We don't know yet,
You
but
know what? I actually don't think this is gonna give us the drop we're looking for.
Yeah, I was
Because
just
if
about
you,
to touch on that.
yeah, if
yeah,
you
I
look at
didn't
the
want
one
to.
hour if you look at the 1 hour time frame, it looks like it wants to be attracted to the previous half day, which was the 3,800 level. So if it does uh, keep going here, it's gonna invert that gap and hold it and keep going higher. So this is gonna be my third loss. I think the way that I'm trading is I don't want to end my day with a red trade. And and my psychology, Steve, is I should have taken the 400 last night and I would have been done with my day. And so now I feel like I'm like revenge trading in a way, you know?
Yep.
Got that chip on your shoulder. I've been there many a time, Alejandra. But
Yep.
I appreciate you being realistic here and saying, hey, I've reevaluated and maybe I don't get what I'm looking for here. What I'm
Mhm,
seeing on NQ is
mhm,
definitely pretty. I think it wants to be like, okay, small time frame, yes, that's a rising wedge. We're gonna break it down and make it look like we're gonna fall. I think these are low time frame traps, and like you said, the hourly does
mhm,
seem like the liquidity draw is higher to me.
mhm,
I'm seeing a lot of incentive to draw it up about 50 points or so up to that weekly close. We have at 37.25. We have the daily high at 37.84. And then we have the weekly high up at 39.67. All three of those, I believe, are going to provide magnets to the upside. The last thing I would note is on a 15-minute chart, we have a couple W's playing out. Do we talk about the W pattern a lot? I know me and Dave have, but Alejandro, have we talked
Yeah,
about the W's?
I'm familiar
Nice.
with it.
Yeah, we
Yeah, so see
can.
how we're kind of like in the, we've made the higher low, and now we're like digesting that neckline, the previous swing high. So if we find acceptance above it, which it's in the process of trying, then I think that it shoots for those, in particular, the daily high at 37.50, or sorry,
Can I see
37.
your chart?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Steve's up.
I thought I was sharing it.
We're
I just
looking
want to
at
see where
your
this
nice
is a
black
W
arrow.
pattern.
Oh, I forgot that I had that up. Let's do it on there.
Steve, what time frame
We can
are
put
you
the
seeing the
trading view
W?
if that's better for you. It's fine.
No worries. I can pull that up on my other screen. I'm just a creature of comfort, and I have all my indicators built in there with the levels, but I can just look to my other screen. So let me pull this to full here.
Whatever
Sorry, what time
you.
frame? Were you looking at that W you said?
Apologies, it was a 15. Let
Okay.
me zoom on out, and I'll show you.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I like those, but on an area of support or areas of demand, not this high up.
let me touch on that in just a second once my brain
Yeah.
processes. Dave, please
Yep.
please help a guy out. How do I draw a
Sure.
box on here? Honestly, Dave, I need your
Okay,
help.
so let's do a live training session. Training session, sorry. You're gonna need your drawing tools. So go all the way left to your chart and click no the little clock. No, the chart, the actual chart window. Go lower. You're going too fast.
I,
There's a little clock on the upper left corner. Lower. There's the same one. Yeah, click that. All right, now you're gonna see a little pencil right under that clock.
oh, I do. There. Okay, now I can. Thank you so much,
All
Dave.
right, and the box is there. You go.
Awesome. I have not had the coffee yet. I'm just
No,
we're
you're
doing
good.
it
You're good.
live.
We're learning in real time, which is great. I saw a question there that I wanted to address. Well, that we're gonna address. Take Heath saying NQ might be going higher. Hypothesis based on the quasi pattern. You might be totally right. Take Heath. We're gonna see. And I am paper hands on this trade, so we'll see if it doesn't within a certain time frame, within the next, I would say 5-10 minutes. If it doesn't play out, I will probably flip my position. So we'll see. And then Daniel saying there's a lot of noise out there: COT, Delta, QW, SSI, CV flow, whatever. How do you actually learn and use them properly? Most are presented for YouTube clicks or selling expensive software. What's your opinion? All right, we're going to touch on
Great,
that. We're going to
great
let
question.
Steve show his point of view, and then we'll touch on that.
All right. Real quick, just just doing the standard here. So we have the W, the push down lower, and generally you want to see this happen at another level of interest. I know Alejandro was mentioning these previous swing lows as a potential target to the downside. So we tried to go and break this range. We failed, did a failed auction, put in a bullish candle, came up, retested the sell-off point, and that creates the first kind of V. Then you look for a higher low to form. This big, strong candle was confirmation in my book. that very likely we want to go higher. Now you see we've been spending about an hour digesting this neckline. If all goes as planned, this digestion leads to price acceptance above that previous swing high. Then we get the W pattern playing out like. All right, the one thing I haven't figured out, Dave, is how to add fib extensions. I thought I just did, and it doesn't look like they're sticking. So we'll eyeball it. 3390 to 3675. Let's see. It'll be roughly about. Yeah, I believe that'll be the previous high of the day. But let me double check here. Sorry, I'm trying to talk and chart at the same time.
You're fine.
Well. There we go. The 1.27 fib is going to be 3750. So right between the weekly close and the daily high. So that's definitely my first major target. Anywhere in this kind of cluster, I'd want to look for sellers to start taking place over the 70-20 handle, probably looking for 70-50, potentially up to sweep that 3,800 handle. But then if we do get the full pattern playing out, we do get the weekly high to fill, and that's going to be 3950. So those are the upside targets I'm seeing going forward here. And sorry, did you have a more specific question that I'm rambling over?
No, the question, I think Daniel's question is very good because it touches on, different techniques, different ways of approaching the market. So the question was, there's a lot of noise there overall in the markets. COT data, delta levels, I guess gamma as well, QW, no idea what that is, SSI, sorry, CVD, flow. How do you actually learn and use them properly? Most are presented for YouTube clicks or selling expensive software. What is your opinion on that? All right. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I have a lot of things to say, but I'm also super parched, so I'm gonna get water and I'll be right back.
All right, go ahead. And there were two.
That 667 area was a nice area to enter. I'm looking to add to my position if it closes below 660.
Yeah, 660. Yeah, we'll see if it closes below. What I wanted to do is live gradually add to the position as much as possible and maintain the same level of risk. Right. And we'll see how many contracts we could get. This way we were talking about it, and we'll do it live if possible. So in dollar terms, we're risking 200, which is, my maximum daily risk on these accounts. So we're gonna, and then the logical profit target for me within this session is this 175, right? The previous area, or it's between, let's put a circle. It's between, let's call it 3575 and 30,600, give or take a few points, right? So what I want to see if this trade does work out is, can we add, and we'll add, if possible, the maximum amount of contracts while maintaining the same risk, just to show that the dollar amount doesn't matter. And my out on this trade is right around 30,700, even though my stop is way up there, right?
What do you mean about to show that the dollar amount doesn't matter? If you're
so the dollar amount of risk matters, right? So basically, in dollar terms, and I totally agree with you there, is I don't want to be risking more than $200, right? That I can control. What I can't control is whether or not I'll make, and you see, I'm risking 200 technically to make 175.
Yeah.
Which should make sense. Which shouldn't, because this is not unless your win rate is over 70%, that doesn't make sense, because you're making less than you're risking. But,
right. Yeah, that's how I think about it too, right? Like that's not a good risk reward. So it's like, is it worth it?
But we can turn it into a bit better risk reward by, adding to the position if the if it makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we just closed at 663. So it's not, and I'm gonna follow actually what you said is if it closes below or around 660, then we might add. It hasn't happened. We're trying to hold this level. We've seen that we are in an area of I call it no man's land where it could go
Mm-hmm.
up or down. But the reality is overall, all right, we could add a little bit, so I'll just add, right? And now my so I have to redo the OCO. So take loss. Now I have to bring my risk lower. I have to bring my risk around here because I want to keep it at 200. And you see, I told you my line in the sand is this yellow line.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm not risking the same. I'm risking the same dollar amount, and but I'm not my risk is not way up there. But guess what just happened? Now the trade makes sense. Why? My take profit is still, it was at 575. My take profit is still there. So now it makes sense risk reward because I was risking 200 to make 175. Now I'm risking 200 to make 338, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as this continues to work in our favor, we will continue to add to the position. Now
Oh,
it's starting to push lower. I can add
yeah,
again and
yeah.
then I'll do OCO, take loss. So now my risk is lower. It's
Mm-hmm.
still 200. And then take profit goes to 575. All right. So now I'm a little bit lower than I would want, right? So we could play around with this. I don't want to put it too high, but if it's going to follow through, now my
Mm-hmm.
risk reward is making sense. Now I'm risking 200 to make almost 500, right?
Whoa.
But
Yeah.
it might reject and pull up because overall we're more bullish. But what I'm
Yeah.
illustrating here is that's what I will do to position as they work in my favor. I'll add, and if this would have turned out to be like a momentum trade where I see, man, this could crater all the way down to the 400s, I'll
Mm-hmm.
just keep adding and keep my risk under control, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I wasn't doing the best adding here because this is a 1 minute. This is a 5 minute. We usually want to wait for a pullback to add.
Mm-hmm.
So not the best ads here. Let me just look. All right, so we'll keep that the same, and if it stops me out, then it stops me out. But that's
Mm-hmm.
what I wanted to illustrate when I say when we were saying this morning, oh, is the dollar is it worth it or not? Well, it's like, does the trade make sense? And
Mm-hmm.
then if the trade makes sense and continues to make sense, then you could just keep adding, keep adding, keep adding, and
Mm-hmm.
keeping your risk under control. And instead of making whatever, was it 175 at the beginning? You might
Mm-hmm.
make $1,000 just
Yeah.
because you managed the trade and then you
Yeah.
you you scaled in and you kept your risk under control. This
Yeah.
is if we get follow through, then this 0.75 to 1 trade will turn into a 5 to 1, a 6 to 1, or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay.
But I think, yeah, you're back.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to talk over you.
You're good.
I'm just gonna be devil's advocate this stream. I think it looks like it's going higher here,
Yeah,
guys.
it's going
Wow.
higher. It's
Yeah.
not working. So now I could be stubborn and hold until it hits my take profit, or I could take a $50-$60 loss and have a second chance at taking another trade. So that's probably what I'm gonna do because it should have followed through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Like
the
the
15
old.
minute candle, I think was very telling there. I was just watching that, seeing if it would stay inside the
We're
previous
out.
big 15 minute or not, and it just confirmed that kind of pivot, and that was the
Yeah.
midpoint of that W that we were looking at too.
Yep.
So it's kind of retesting. So it should be good
Yeah.
for higher now.
It's good
Okay.
for
Just looking
So
higher.
for a higher low or somewhere to tag in, maybe on this 1 minute fair value gap that's opening. I'm in sleepy mode today,
No, we're
so I'm
good.
not trading, but I'm always a student of the charts. I always want to just watch a
mhm.
trade. Dave, I think you were saying like, well, to me, it's really entertaining watching people make or lose money, just watching a trade play out. I'm the same way. I think it's a beautiful thing watching a pattern play out or confirm or not confirm and learning
Mhm.
something either way. So
Yeah.
true students of the game.
I'm flat. I also just want to watch. Um, I was gonna say, when it was giving us that drop below 660, I don't know if you could you just show my chart
Yeah,
really
sure.
quick,
I'm pulling up your chart right now.
Dave. Sorry. Um, okay, you guys see this white line right here, right? The horizontal line.
Mhm.
When it
Yep.
closed below here, I I now have a rule to wait for that candle to close and to see how the next one is going to open, to enter on the next one,
Nice.
because as we saw, this one just completely inverted this candle. And so for me, I can't add, like I just can't, because look at what it's doing, right? It's giving us higher lows after that candle close. And so for me to add to the position, I would need another lower high, another lower low, another lower high, another lower low. In this case, it, like Steve said, it's just looking pretty bullish. So yeah, I mean, I would love to see if it's going to actually, continue to give us higher lows, and essentially at the end of the day, possibly invert this and hold. I would love to see how it's going to react at this level. And do you guys know what time we closed today, or the market closes today?
1 p.m. Eastern. So that's your time, 3 hours prior. So that would be 11
Is it?
Yeah,
a.m.
Oh my god! Did
11,
I just? I failed it.
10,
Simple
11,
subtraction.
10, 11,
Oh, it is
21,
10? Okay, cool. One of us can't
10.
do basic math this morning.
Yeah,
Uh,
10.
I,
Sorry, I did. I
I,
said
I'm
11. Yeah,
terrible
sorry.
at math.
No, you
Uh,
dazzle me so effectively because I get it wrong 9 out of 10 times. So
Yeah, same here. I suck at mental math.
and then yeah, then we have a lot of people overseas too. So doing all the time zone
right.
equations can
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
confusing. I just say
So
market
yeah.
time. I just do everything on New York time now.
So we have pretty much 3 hours. It would be really interesting to see what it does at this level, if it does want to go higher. And also, we've been getting pretty stuffy here. So
Mhm.
that's why I'm more short biased. So I don't know, I've already taken, I think, 3 trades so far. And even though like I'm taking small losses, I'm already down 200 for the day. So I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm
Well,
curious. Oh, yes, there is. I'm just adding volume profile to my chart on Black Arrow. That's an awesome. That's
Oh,
not something that
how did
all.
you add that?
Uh,
so it's gonna depend. If you have the pro version, you'll be able to add it. But
um,
Alejandro, we have the 1 version for now, so it won't
Why?
be.
I want the pro
so
version.
Well, you could pay for it, but the free one is the 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 1 version for now.
Uh, sorry, I spoke too soon there. I was gonna say like this is a paid feature on almost every other broker. Like I was like really shocked. Okay, so
No,
that does
there's
make
3
sense.
tiers. There's the
Uh,
1 which everybody gets for free, and then there's 2 upgrades. There's the Pro and then the Ultra. That they're paid versions. I'll
I'll be
check
taking the
internally
pro
for you
then.
guys to see if you can upgrade.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll talk about that off
Okay,
stream.
cool. I can definitely sell it because I use the volume profile every single day, and
Yeah, me too.
I wanted to just mention that it really did illustrate, Alejandro, you mentioned that kind of congestion, that stuffiness up in that zone, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
top of the volume shelf. So like when we
Mm-hmm.
get the volume to push away from that, it's going to be beautiful. I expect up, but until then, it
Mm-hmm.
might be this kind of process of reaching up to grab maybe the daily high, coming back into that volume profile base,
Mm-hmm.
reaching up a little bit higher until we get the cash session, on Monday when we get
Mm-hmm.
that real volume coming in.
Yep. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Gold is looking really weak too. I missed the entry on the short side.
I also, if we had a sec, I wanted to make sure Insomnia Trader got a
Yeah,
going for
we
another
that's what I
day.
wanted to say. This it's going to be a long-winded one, but I want to talk to T Style first. If you want to close
Yeah.
partials, what's the quickest way to do that on Black Arrow? The quickest way is to just mark it in and mark it out, right? You just you have 3 contracts, you could just mark it in. If you want to put a limit order, let me put my screen back on. You can just click here and put a limit order. So like buy limit, and I have brackets set. So what you'll do is you put none, no brackets, and this is this is the quickest way of doing it, using the order entry, order entry, what do you call that? Menu here, right? All right, so big time. Yeah, I want to re-enter short, honestly. I'm gonna wait, but I really think we might pull back. And the opening range is tiny today. It's only 46.5 points, which is tiny
Mm.
for the Nasdaq.
Mhm.
930. You guys know I like to use this. Let's put the ORB here. Where's 930?
Or
Big me to fit me. What do you think about the 1 hour time frame on MNQ? Just curious.
yeah, good to see you in
Um,
here, by the way. That's our
yeah.
good buddy Ayush.
Nice. The thing though is that it can be bullish overall, but if you have a shorter time frame trade, which you want to
Mm,
happen within 15-20 minutes,
mm,
it might make sense to take, right?
Right.
So
And that might be my entry for the bigger little bit of a swing, you know. So I see that a
yeah,
mm,
lot. Some of the shorter term guys, they are I'm stalking an entry and they're fading me, fading my idea, but they're making nice money. And then when they're out of their trade, I'm like, oh, now this
mhm,
is actually right about when I'm looking to get in. So there's
yeah,
mhm.
enough money for everybody to eat,
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
there should be
exactly. And
good
and
tape.
And I've done that live with Samir, where he's long, I'm short, and we both make money because he'll hold his trade for the whole day, and I'm
Mm,
just looking for a quick 15-20 minute
mhm,
trade, and it
mhm,
was great. We did it live.
mhm.
I made profit first, and then I think I was short, and then the position completely reversed, and he made profit, so it was great. I think we've done that
That was
as well,
cool.
Steve.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, we've done that as well, where we take opposite sides and they both work out. So it's always a beautiful thing.
Mhm,
Yeah, it's usually the same thing. You're usually a little faster to execute. So I'm thinking about the idea going, if this happens, you're like, all right, I'm in. All right, I'm half out. All right, I'm out, and I'm going. Now I think I'm ready. I'm the slower. I'm just a little bit slow, especially in the mornings. I've noticed because I know the market's very fast. It's when the
Yeah,
market's the fastest and my brain's the slowest. I'm just getting up and the market's ready to go. So
yeah.
I'm trading very small and I'm trying to build a little bit of a margin, a little bit of a cushion. And then I like my swing trades. So I like the afternoon because I get entries. I get pullbacks to get in on stuff that I think looks really good. And then I get to have my fun in the afternoon when the volume comes back in there too. But it does look like
What's your time frame on swing trades? Like how you I know you're gonna tell me it varies, but in general.
mhm,
one, two. So I have in general, I'm taking swing trades when I think a chart is in an uptrend on weekly, daily, and 4 hour time frames. And it's when the hourly time frame is kind of confirming. So it's starting to break out and then it's back testing on that kind of hourly support. So that's generally when I look to enter. And usually those trades will last from 1 to 4 or 5 days. But
Okay.
sometimes that swing setup will just turn into a position trade. It'll just
Nice.
turn into something that I just hold if I
Okay.
catch it perfectly. But that'll always be with a smaller percentage, like usually 1/3 at the most of that
Okay.
position that turns into the position trade, and then I'll try to pyramid into that as well. But
Nice.
yeah,
I think you need to teach me because I don't have that patience,
mm,
and I'm gonna have it's just a patience problem. I can
Dave,
hold a position for 20 years or 10 years. I haven't held for 20 years yet, but I'll hold something for 5 years, 10 years, whatever. I'll hold something for a few minutes or hours, but that in between, holding something more than 24 hours is just drives me crazy. I can't
mm.
that
sometimes it drives me crazy too.
yeah.
So sometimes it drives me crazy too. I'll be honest. So that's why it's always very it's very these aren't going to be the biggest percentage of my trades. Like,
Yeah.
I like to generate income with the short term with the scalping because it's so controllable, right? It's like
Yeah.
I can get out the second I don't like it, and I don't have to worry about like, am I being a coward? Am I capitulating on my investment thesis because of one scary 1 minute candle, something like that? It's just you trade what you see, not what you want to happen. It's very intuitive for me.
Yep.
Stack
Yep.
that money in the bank, put that into stuff that I don't have to babysit, stuff that I don't care what it does tomorrow or even next week, really. If I see
Nice.
something in my long term holdings that it's down 10% on a week,
Mhm.
I'm like, cool, I get a discount because I'm not
Yeah.
cashing out for 5, 10 years plus. That's not the plan anyway, at least,
Yeah.
Mm.
And so in that regard, these kind of middle areas, they're the hardest, and I trade them with the least amount of capital because otherwise, I'm like you said, it's the most risky in my book. And also, this is where I think a lot of traders have like PTSD because if you trade options on this kind of time, it's the gambliest thing ever. I always
Yeah.
tell people like just
Mm.
trade 0 day options. And they're like, how, why is that better? I'm like, well, you're not going to get married to them and hold them overnight. They're going to go down
Mm.
50%. Then you're going to have opportunity cost and you're not going to spend more to buy more on them. And then the
Mhm.
next day they're going to open up another 20% down and it's just going to be throwing good money after bad. That's where
Mhm.
monthly options can just murder you. Um, so for options, either 0 days or like leaps, 3+ months. And in general, the more and more I do this, the more I realize, man, I should just be in shares and I should just trade more leverage short term with either futures primarily is what I'm gravitating to, or equities, with large shares, and just not worry about Greeks working against me
Yeah.
Mhm.
and sell options if I'm going to be messing with options. That's
Mhm.
good profit or income generation to take more futures trades. That's kind of how I look at that.
Nice.
I ended up taking a one last short at 667. So if the 667 doesn't work for me, I'm done.
All righty.
I think you're going to make your money, and I think that my idea probably is going to take a while to play out because when you're negotiating the right side of that kind of W, like right now, we're just barely under the top wicks of that previous swing high. It hasn't invalidated by any means, but you can still make $100 here, $200 there.
Mhm,
And
mhm. I
yeah,
want to try Dave's method of moving the risk assets going my way if I add one more and see how that works out. I want to test
Yeah.
my
I
psychology.
start out with a wide ass stop, and then gradually I put it tighter as it works in my favor.
that's interesting.
Got my stop
Um,
right now is 690, 689.
yeah. All right. We still haven't answered Daniel, and that's
Oh,
coming.
shoot.
But uh, they were saying Alejandra NQ is reacting from the 1 hour supply zone and a low volume node. I will only look for longs above 3703.
Thank
Above
Okay,
you.
37.
3703. Yeah, which would
Yeah,
be
that's what
above
I was.
here.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
yeah,
So
that's
that.
approximately above the 15-minute bearish for value gap that I have as well.
Yeah.
And that's totally valid. That's like saying, I'm gonna wait for Steve's idea to actually prove itself and not just trust that wacky dude who's not even in the trade. So that's totally valid. That's playing momentum out in the breakout of that larger pattern that I'm kind of
Yeah.
stalking. I love that. Good analysis there.
Also, when I'm entering a trade, I am constantly looking at all the time frames at the same time.
Mhm.
So, like, I execute on the 1 minute to get a great entry. I manage the trade on the 5, the 15, and then I just always look at the overall 1 hour just to, I like to study how it's constantly looking on the 1 hour. And then
Mhm.
the 15-minute just kind of guides me on, like, the direction of the trade and the potential support level, the potential next level. So I have all those time frames up at the same time.
I love that. Alejandra, could I
Yeah.
this is a business proposition. Could I interest you in any way, shape, or form of trying out any indicators in the future? Because there's just like one or two that I think that
Mhm.
it's like just such an easier way to visualize what you're already tracking and describing with like the momentum on different
Mhm.
time frames and how they're
Mhm.
kind of progressing. Is that something
Yeah.
you'd ever be interested in, or are you like
Yeah.
pure no indicators?
You know what? Like, I used to use indicators. So I don't know if you could see right here on this
Oh
chart
yeah,
here.
yeah, a little bit.
So I don't know if you could see the
Sorry.
lines, but I
Let me share your
actually,
screen. Oh, I thought
no,
you were sharing this screen.
this is I use Thinkorswim for charting, or no, not for charting, for major levels, like to have all my time frames up. So this is actually a simulated trading because I don't take
Yeah.
trades on this. I just watch it. But this is the Bollinger Band, And then this is the MACD as well. So I do have two indicators that I don't use, but they're just there and I study them. So one thing that I notice is like on the 15-minute time frame, when it's reaching the top line, let me see if I can move it so you guys could see my screen. No, I can't. I would have to manage my screens, but
It's like,
anyway, so if it's reaching the top of the band, when the bands are like closing like this,
mhm.
and it doesn't, it's not looking bullish or whatever, and there's rejection and resistance, then the Bollinger Bands start to expand, and when they expand, that's when I get like, confidence that it's going my way. And I'll
Right.
look at that, and right now they're expanding, right? And I'm getting the sign on the 5-minute time frame that there's it's saying we're gonna go lower. So I do have some indicators,
Okay.
but the thing is that they never really worked for me. Like when I tried to follow them, they didn't really go my way. It's like a 50-50. So then when I started studying ICT, he's like, you want a clean chart. Like, why do you want help? If you want help, that means you're not uh you don't know how to read the chart well, and you don't know how to read price action. And that kind of like slapped me in the face a little bit. I'm like, oh, you're right, ICT. Let
I,
me be raw.
it's so funny how similar, like I feel like this is going to resonate with a lot of traders because I did that exact same thing. And just like, I mean, we're talking about oscillators. Well, I'm an oscillator going back and forth from no indicators to a bunch. I'll slowly start adding and then realize this is too cluttered. I'm losing my ability to cleanly read the chart because I'm getting too pulled by different biases of all these things stacked
Mhm,
up.
mhm,
But if I found there's a happy medium for me personally, like a few key moving averages, volume profile, so I can just kind of have some more
mhm,
depth, so to speak. I think volume analysis is really helpful, and then
mhm,
just some kind of oscillator. For me, I really like a wave trend oscillator that kind of smooths it out on both sides. But this just helps me when I'm like doing what you're talking about, flipping through time frames. This
mhm.
helps me really quickly gauge where we are on any given one there. And
Yeah, so what indicators were you thinking
yeah,
that
I
would
was
help?
thinking, let me show you one real quick. It's
Sure.
called the wave trend oscillator, and I haven't don't know if it's on Black Arrow yet. I will check momentarily, but
Is this
just
a trading view?
this is TradingView, but I want to basically, this is where I code things on, so
Mm,
that's why
mhm,
it's like the
mhm.
comfort thing for me. But
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
want to get everything on Black Arrow because that's what I want to do most of my trading
Yeah.
on going forward. Because the
Mhm.
execution's much better. It's just really clean,
Yeah.
and I can tell it's really robust. So I also use Thinkorswim though as well because a lot of my tools are based off of their
Mhm.
data feeds. So what I was looking at is this oscillator, this wave trend oscillator at the top here. And sorry, I'm lagging a little bit, but I'm going to expand this here. There we go. So after I clean up these indicators on the bottom so we can see a few things, we'll be
And
in
do you
shape.
pay for them, or I'm guessing you pay for TradingView, right? Because we need the real-time data.
So for TradingView, it's funny. I actually don't pay for real-time data in TradingView. I just do all
Mhm.
my coding and my indicators there, my equity trading there. I
Oh,
I do
wow.
all of my futures trading with Black Arrow, which is why I want to convert everything there. I'm on like the $10 a month one, just
Okay.
so I can have multiple indicators and all of that.
Yeah,
But
that's the one I'm on too.
nice, nice. For this indicator, essentially what I'm looking for is really quickly when I flip from time frame to time frame, I can see where we are on a trend. So right now, for example, you were talking about the Bollinger Bands expanding. I can see that same kind of action when I see this kind of 4 hour or hourly to start to expand. So I can
Mhm,
very often look for swing trades, those 1 to 3 day swing trades, but really often it's just overnight where
mhm,
you can see at the end of the day here, this hourly is starting to cross over and give a bearish signal, and
mhm,
that confirms on this hourly candle, which was just a very heavy candle. And if you
mhm,
just look for small up candles after this close, like
mhm,
anywhere in here, you just
mhm,
get really easy downtrend moves.
mhm,
Or for example, when it crosses over bullish,
mhm,
right here, I would say, okay, it crossed over bullish on the oscillator on the hourly plus this
mhm,
it's an hourly close over a key moving average,
mhm,
probably going to be a good area here to get long for a swing.
Yeah.
And you can just go, okay, the 1 hour's bullish, 30-minute right here. Okay, it's bullish, but it's starting to peak down just a little bit. So maybe momentum slowing a little bit on the 30.
Mm-hmm.
15 is the same thing. It's kind of wilting, it's curling more. So maybe we
Mm.
can expect for the next 15
It's
minutes, a couple hours.
it's called the wave trend oscillator, you said?
Yeah, yeah. This one's called Wave Trend Oscillator, and it's
It's
basically
so sorry, it's so funny because like it looks similar to the MACD, the RSI, stochastics, and those are all indicators I used to use. So I wonder if
yeah.
it's like a combination of all.
It's really funny you mentioned that. So I started using this one in particular because my
Mm-hmm.
friend did extensive back testing on all of the ones you
Mm.
mentioned and more, all of
Oh
these
wow.
oscillator indicators. And basically, we found that this is the one that works the most, the best, and gives the earliest indicator the most often out of all of them. Go back
Mm.
testing through quite a decent data set, about like
Cool.
6 months, I think. So,
I love that.
obviously, it's contingent on that kind of regime, what things were doing in that
Mm-hmm.
6 months. But in general, it was very reliable.
Mm.
So the other one that I think sometimes has an edge we found was the
Mm-hmm.
MFI, the money flow indicator. But in general,
Mm.
this wave trend, it takes most of the same kind of core features of any kind of oscillator. It essentially has a short-term moving average. For me, it's this green, and this longer-term one, or the base level, which
Mm-hmm.
is the gray for me. Usually for red, it's red. And the idea is that just like for moving averages, when you have a lower moving average cross over a higher, it represents essentially positive price progression, or algorithmic constructivity, building from one time frame to another, building from one kind of algorithmic firing to another. I'm rambling. The point being, it what was my point? It's just a good basic kind of oscillator that can
You
fulfill.
were you were trying to convince Alejandra to
Yeah.
use
I
indicators.
don't know if I'm convinced. You're not a
That
good
that that was
salesman.
not very convincing. I'll have to work on my pitch here,
Yeah.
maybe after a cup of coffee. Uh, my,
I'm just
my,
kidding.
my
I'm just kidding.
No, no, it's I need to work on tightening it up there. I will say in one sentence, you can flip between the time frames really quickly and just see like, hey, 15-minute we're
Yeah.
still slow, but maybe on this 5 minute, yeah, now we're bearish on the 5 minutes. So that's what I
Mhm.
used to maybe is trading on in the comments there. Maybe that's what you're trading on. And on the 1 minute here, we're also expanding down here. So
And
this
are
is
you looking for the green one to be under, or does it matter? Or
Yeah, well, the green one is like the signal, right? So when
okay,
this green is expanding down,
yeah,
I would
okay,
expect it to kind of try to meander down until it reaches an oversold level under this dotted
gotcha.
line.
Okay,
And
hmm,
just like when it reaches this overbought on the 1 minute here, it can kind of pinpoint an entry. Like for example, if you were looking short already, then you could hone in
hmm,
on this 1 minute time frame and wait for this to get overbought and give a bearish signal. Then it would get you in right, where is it? Yeah, right at this candle. And basically it's just a good kind of waypoint, a
okay,
barometer, so to speak, to get you in on any time frame. I'm
yeah,
going to
yeah.
work on my pitch because I can do better than this, and it's worth explaining correctly because it's such a valuable tool in my toolbox here.
No, I appreciate that. We will just blame the coffee.
Yeah, it's
On Friday
early. It's early.
morning. No, but I appreciate it because we are all professionals here, and a lot of people are obviously I'm sure they appreciate watching and listening to the way that we trade and the things that we look at and what helps us and how we, interpret the market and you know, the time frame that we've been in this game and our profession, I should say. It's not a game. But
Kind
I
of a
always
game.
appreciate I always appreciate how traders think and like what they look at, and it's very interesting to hear what helps you and how you look at the market and what how your chart actually looks like. One thing I will touch on is I don't know if you guys have heard of the short bear.
Hmm.
Yep.
His
Yeah, you put me onto him. I've been watching him do his
Oh,
thing. It's
I
pretty
love
cool.
that. Yeah, he's oh man, like I want to be like him. He one day was I guess like traveling with Tim Sykes, and I hope I get to meet him one day. I really do. He's too young for me, but
I'm out of my trade, by the way, out of my short.
yeah, it's like hunting my stop. But anyway, so he when I was listening to one of his videos, and I was just listening. I wasn't even watching the chart at all. I was just listening, and I put that video on repeat like I do with my R&B songs. And one of the things that I super appreciated, and I don't know, to be honest, if this applies to like swing trading or any other kind of trading, but the way he trades is he's obviously a short bias because that's why his name is the short bear. But what one thing that really stood out to me was the way that he thought. And one thing he said was, I'm I'm looking at where if I'm shorting, I want to know where to enter based on when the longs are going to be thinking of getting out. So he's like thinking ahead of the other players, the other side, and when am I going to cover? What when would I be covering based on when I see that buyers may be starting to come in? And I just always kept that in the back of my head because I'm like, oh, when I'm thinking of when I want to cover, that's the major level or the major area where I want to take my profits. And so now I think that that's really like what has made me that range trader, because I want to short at major areas of supply zones or resistance, and I want to cover at the major areas of demands because that's where the buyers are going to start to come in. So I just thought that was like a really interesting perspective. And I don't know if traders think that way, but I think we should think that way of like, kind of like chess or poker, right? You want to think ahead of what you have in hand, and I'm
Yeah,
about
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
opt out.
it's like thinking where are the max pain areas, and that's where you want to be entering. It's like, okay, if anybody's long, if I was long, and that's why I always like to present the bull case, the bear case. Every time I'm analyzing by myself,
Hmm.
I'm showing, okay, what is the bullish case, what is the bearish case, what is the neutral case. So the bullish case, if we're long,
Hmm.
this is where we want to be entering, this is where we're going to put our stops, etc. If we're short, this is where we want to be, and then you decide what is the position that works for you. And while you're short, you want to be thinking, okay, if I were long right now, where would I be getting at, where would I be getting in, and that can allow you to kind of manage the position better. Yeah, I
Hmm.
think that's a great way to approach trading, not just looking at technicals, but thinking psychologically. Where are people positioned?
Yeah. Yeah, like see for example, like if longs entered in at 30,550, for example, if I was in the trade, I'd be like, okay, where would I be getting out? Like where would I be selling my position or my profits? And it would probably be around this area. So then, okay, if longs are going to be getting out at this area, then maybe we can take a look at probably positioning into a short position around that area. However, typically, with ICT explains that the market is attracted to the buy side liquidity and the sell side liquidity. So in this case, has it swept the high of day? Did we get a liquidity sweep? And in this case we did over here, but because we had this big run and it took these lows down here on the sell side, it held, and then it tried to push to a new high, but it just couldn't, right? It got rejected, and then we created this 15-minute bearish fair value gap, and we've been pretty much sitting below it. So now if I'm in a long trade and I want to hold this for essentially a sweep of these highs here, then I would want it to obviously invert that gap and retest that gap to go sweep those highs. But as a long thinker, if it's getting stuffy here and I've seen resistance and rejection at this level, I probably wouldn't take that risk, and I'd probably get out and take my profits and not be greedy. But I like to be a long biased thinker when I'm in my short bias trade.
Yeah, I
Totally,
think
totally
that's
good
a
to look
great
at both sides.
approach.
Yeah, no, definitely. The other thing I just think is important in this scenario in particular, because we're kind of debating like whether this thing is going to break higher or not.
Right.
You know, it really is. Who's to say? What I would say is there's probably not a ton of liquidity here today. What there is a
Mhm.
news catalyst in low volume. So the news catalyst, by the way, I don't even know if we mentioned it because we were just in such good conversation earlier. But the reason why
Mhm.
we are pushing up, or at least we got the big candle, was that Hezbollah agreed to the deal, the peace deal. Let me
Oh,
get
Mm.
that's
the
why.
details. Yeah,
What time
uh,
was this?
this was
5:45.
For us, it was 5:50. So Israel and Hezbollah have agreed to a ceasefire at 4 p.m. local time on Friday.
Mm.
Yeah, so it was 8:50, right at 8:50
Yeah.
on the Eastern time frame.
Right. So my only point is that Alejandro, you mentioned a couple of reasons why you thought we were maybe going down on like a 15-minute time frame, like we were unable to push higher, and if we are going to go higher, we need to flip that fair value gap, which I totally agree with. My
Mhm.
whole thing is that I'm looking at this and seeing like on an hourly time frame, to me it
Mhm.
looks like we have already kind of reached into that internal liquidity below. We filled the gap, or almost filled the gap. We pushed down again, and then we got some news that's now pushing us above that kind of 75.50, 75.60
Mhm.
pivot there. Let me close my news. So you can see that dotted line. You can see that's kind of where we initially gapped up to. And I remember that being it's funny. When we were stalking along on this day, we swung along, and it gapped right up into the target for the next week. We thought that that would be the target. 75.60 ES would be the target to reach for in the next week. It just speed ran right to it, and that ended up being a
Mhm.
very very sticky important level. And as we move on from there, you'll see that the price, yeah, there's the point of control. This dashed line is right on that level. So that's kind of been the pin since that was the target since the beginning of the week. And now that this week's options expiry, this gamma is rolled off, I think that's why we're kind of ready to start looking to push up. And we're seeing on book map as well that kind of liquidity stacked higher. The only question
Mhm.
is it going to happen today? Is it going to happen
Mhm.
next week?
Mhm.
Of
Yeah,
course, it did not happen in
Yeah,
general.
that's
But
that's the other thing.
mhm.
Oh,
But
there
just
it's probably gonna go hit my stop. Ayush, how's your short doing too? I want to know.
yeah, I've been out of my short. I got long up while I was in my short in another account.
oh, playing both
Um,
sides.
oh yeah, I
Not
mean,
on
you
top.
got to be open minded.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I switched to my black arrow here to try to get the live data for y'all because I'm in so leisurely mode here. I'm just like on my trading view. I'm like, that's 10 minutes delayed. Let's see what's actually happening. Basically the exact same price as it was 10 minutes ago, but
Yeah,
it does seem
not
like it's
not a lot of
finding
movement. I
acceptance
mean,
here, right?
when I saw that the opening range was 46.5 points, I'm like, okay, we're not, compared to a couple days ago it was 200 plus points. If we'd get less than 100 points, I was like, okay, today's gonna be, a struggle.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I didn't know about that Hezbollah news. That's an interesting take. My thesis was on top of the pattern formations we were seeing, the candle price action, etc. It was like, well, it's a low volume day. Will we get enough bullishness in the market? Won't we have to pull back a little bit before it works out?
Mm.
So that was the thesis, and I was looking for a very short-term trade, which is why I said that while I was entering, I'm like, okay, this is going to be paper hands on this trade. So I'm still waiting. But if it looks clean again, I'll re-enter. So
Absolutely. Okay, that makes sense.
are you
And
saying he's still in short? Trust the process. There we
yeah, and
go.
he was
Process over
I love
profit.
that.
He was mentioning earlier he's just looking for the orb to sweep and to get
Yep,
kind of that internal liquidity, which is
indeed.
totally valid. On a 5 minute, that could be basically targeting this low volume node here. It's also the round number of 75.50, which we
Yep.
mentioned multiple times being a big pin. Totally valid. When I look at this, I just see it kind of ticking all of the boxes, prerequisite boxes for a W pattern, and now starting to push up through that key pivot. But the only thing that's giving me pause is, well, it's kind of like you said, it's weird low liquidity time for it to be doing it. I could easily see it being a fake out here, and maybe it would just be reaching for. I'm looking at Bookmap, like 10 points higher at the very most, and then I would expect a reversal, a pullback at least to some degree until we get more volume in. But honestly,
Mhm.
yeah, this is Alejandro. I think we were talking about garbage time yesterday.
Mhm.
Like this is kind of garbage time for me. It's like low confidence trading in this environment compared to
Yeah.
a cash open, a London open,
Yeah.
Asia
This
open.
feels like Asia actually for me.
Yeah, yeah. It will. And Asian sessions are often consolidation,
Slow.
right? You get
Yeah.
Yeah.
consolidation in Asian session, you get manipulation in London session, and then you get
Mhm.
expansion in New
In
York
New
session,
York. Mhm.
quite often at least. The
Yeah.
good
Yep.
old, I remember those lessons. That whole, I feel like it was a 20-hour session in the ICT stuff, going through all of the oh the
I'm getting stopped out.
oh my goodness, I'm like having PTSD of like tracking the last 30-day range, the last 60-day range, the last 20-day range, and seeing where all of those balances were, and all. It was very useful, but also like I'm thinking like a robot, just like
Mm.
I could only see things in code. It was like
Mhm.
it was not healthy. I always say I was like on a road trip driving by a mountain range, going like, that's a 50% equilibrium pullback. That's like there's a fair value gap. I was like, what am I talking about? This is vacation. I need to relax.
You need to relax.
So there's all you can take it too far, guys, but definitely a
Yeah.
lot of fascinating theory on market structure in those
Mhm.
courses, and
Indeed.
hopefully,
I've never looked at the ICT stuff. I've only seen the bad press, whatever you want to call it,
yeah.
the critics, but I'm sure there's some good gems in there. Maybe eventually I'll take a look at it. I don't know.
For
Um,
me, it's like important to separate the art from the artist, kind of,
yeah, I
because
think that's a good way to approach it.
I
people are
like
so
that.
dogmatic on either side. They either love them or hate them, and I used to be like 100% ride or die. And then like
Mm.
all the Robbins Cup stuff came out, and all of those like
Yeah.
Mm.
big stuff where it's like, okay, seems like probably isn't 100% honest about his live trading and
Mhm.
stuff at certain times. That being said, I've seen him take live trades many times, and his ideas play out very cleanly. I know his ideas work because they're just they're extrapolations on basic concepts of liquidity and supply and demand. So
Yeah.
he attaches fancy names to them and really refines the concept, which at some time can seem like a lot of extra nonsense. And I get why people have problems with that, but in some instances, I think it really helps articulate certain concepts, like taking a range and breaking it down into very specific, like doing like the anatomy of a range and how you will have, for example, you will have the different components. My mouse is so laggy here. I can't really illustrate it as it deserves. But you'll have the very top. You'll have the breaker block. You'll have the fair value gap a little bit lower. So when price is coming back and trying to break higher in a range, there's like multiple areas that he gives specific names to, and
Hmm.
based on the
Mhm.
price's reaction to those levels, it can give you little tips of the hand, so to speak, little peeks behind the curtain of where price may go. For example, Alejandro earlier was talking about that 15-minute fair value gap, and we were talking about whether to put our stop in that 15-minute fair value
Mhm.
gap or whether to put it above on the wick.
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
depending on multiple factors, you might be inclined to target one versus the other. For example, in a consolidation range like today, I'd be inclined to go for that fair value gap as a target instead of expecting it to go and breach the actual range, have that
Mhm.
volume and drive to do that on a maybe low
Mhm.
volume day. Sorry, a
Nice.
lot of rambling here.
No, you're dropping gems here, man. You're dropping gems. A
Yeah.
lot of knowledge. That's what we're here for today. We're gonna get those fireworks going.
Uh,
uh,
I
yeah.
just wanted to touch base a little bit on the ICT thing.
Hmm.
Um, mm, Before I learned ICT, I just learned it this year actually. Um, I used to short at just major areas of resistance, but I would never really like know where to enter or when to enter. So most times, I would just do the AK. Um, I'm blanking out on the. I'm like losing my train of thought. Um, AK's trend line crack. So I would just wait for that trend line to to crack and then re-enter on the retest of the trend. So I didn't really like that because it tested my patience a lot. I would feel like I'm missing out on a good entry. So when I learned ICT, it was such a game changer for me because I'm like, oh my gosh, like now I'm understanding like why the candles are doing what they're doing. And I always say, it's not about like learning ICT and then applying it. It's about learning how he thinks about the market and the candles. And then you can utilize his techniques to improve your trading, not necessarily use it and apply it and be like him. But when I was watching his videos and I saw his entries and his exits and how he could literally enter on the long and then enter on the pullback and then enter on the long and then enter on the pullback. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, how did he know all that? And then I
Right.
started studying it that way. I'm like, okay, let me see if this pullback will give me that pullback if this move will give me that pullback before it keeps going higher. And then let me see where it could potentially hold. And let me see if I can take a long position and then sell at that position. And so I started trading that way. And I'm just like, damn, like, that's actually really interesting. So, you
It feels
know,
like magic, doesn't it? The first time you
yeah,
watch precision
yeah,
price delivery. I
yeah,
totally agree with you there.
mhm,
Mm.
yeah, and I think it was for me a really game changer for my entries and my exits. So
Same,
I
and for the same
appreciate
reason.
him. Yeah,
Sorry to step on you. It's just like it's so
no,
funny how many similarities there are because it's for the entries for me too. Because it was like, how can I
yeah,
hone this in? And that's
yeah,
what I loved seeing him go. All right, so there's a 15-minute fair value gap. We already have the session bias. We know we have a good idea of whether they're reaching for internal liquidity or external
mhm,
liquidity. So for
external,
example, we have a bullish bias on the day in the first half hour of the day where we'll be looking for
mhm,
internal liquidity manipulation, a pull into that
mhm,
sell side
mhm,
liquidity. So we're looking for hourly fair value gaps, 15-minute fair value gaps. We're going
mhm,
to keep honing
mhm,
that in and in until we can
yeah,
usually find like a 1 or 5 minute fair value gap that provides a super specific tight
mhm,
area to put your risk
mhm,
into. And you just
yeah,
wait for it to come. You see the price action start to deliver there. And that is it is very cool. What I will say is for me it's like everything. Take what resonates, leave the rest, you
yeah,
know?
for
Yeah,
sure.
nothing's going to be 100%. I think he gets a little bit dogmatic. It always makes me laugh when he's like, I'm the ghost in the machine. I wrote the
Yeah,
algorithm. It's like, oh, okay.
that's where he loses me.
Yeah, exactly. It
Mhm.
reminds me of the gif of that guy bowling. He hits a strike. He's like, "Who do you think you are? I am." It's like, okay, all right,
Yeah.
sure thing, man. You wrote this. Regardless, he's putting out a lot of good information for free, so I got to
Yeah,
give him the flowers there. I learned more from him than anybody else in terms of
yeah,
an online figure by
for
far.
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Also, I want to last thing. I always study the market by using ICT's method. So I'll be like, why did it hold here? And then I'll go through all the time frames and then I'm like, oh, I see. Okay. And so then I'll start drawing everything, I'll draw my lines and then I'll label everything. I usually chart on TradingView as well. So I'll just be looking at the previous history of the market. And that's how I improve my trading by just studying what the market gives us, from previous history.
Right. And something that it's important about his kind of ideology, so to speak, which I do definitely agree with, is he doesn't like indicators because they misalign in people's brains the why. So for
Hmm.
example, uh he would say price isn't reacting to your specific moving average when it's catching around there. It's more that specific moving average, or in general, those moving averages are going to congregate around levels of importance. So
Hmm.
the um, the important thing is usually more about horizontal levels of support and resistance. Those are much more real on like
Hmm.
legitimate order books. There's actual orders that will actually absorb supply or demand, at those levels,
Hmm.
as opposed to like an arbitrary diagonal line or an arbitrary moving average on your XY time frame. So if you're only looking at those indicators, you can kind of build this kind kind of cargo cult false relationship with the information where you're thinking that this line is going to keep you safe, where in reality you should be looking at the level 2 order books. You should be looking at the horizontal support and resistance and seeing if that if the character is changing on this second test, this third test of this level. And it's not so much about where your blue line is or where your, diagonal line is. That's just more of an approximation that makes it easy for people's minds to kind of visualize. So I do think that's a good thing that's worth noting for sure. The why behind things. It's all supply and demand at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Indeed. That's why I always frame it like, think of it as if you're in a shoe store, right?
Yeah.
Are they giving discounts and everybody wants to buy, or did they just raise the price and everybody wants to run away? What is the discount? Is it 50% off, 70% off? We've illustrated that quite a few times. So
Why
yeah,
why shoe store?
I think shoes are cool. Everybody can reference a shoe store, right?
Yeah.
If we start talking about, I don't know, a camera store or a rare antique store, not everybody's going to relate to that, but everybody has a pair of Nikes or whatever. So
True.
I think it's
What's your
just more
go-to sneaker?
relatable.
What's your go-to sneaker, Dave?
I've been an Adidas guy all my life. I think I've owned one pair of Nikes, so in my whole
Wow.
life, yeah. I don't know. I like to root for. Well, I say the underdog. They're not really the underdog. They're making millions every year,
I love New Balance.
but okay.
New Balance. All right, Adidas, New Balance. I'll be boring. I'm a white Air Force Ones guy.
All right.
But I will say Adidas Ultra Boost probably the most comfortable shoe I've ever worn in my
I
life.
have one white pair, right
Yeah.
there.
They look good too. They were like
Yeah.
walking on clouds. So I might have to go back. I might have to go back for my next pair.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So yeah, well, guys, time flies when you're having fun. We finally never answered Daniel's question, really. But I think we kind of touched on it. You're saying the year you started ICT wasn't around. Barney saying market is auction, guys. Use supply, demand, value areas and bookmap, by the way. Dev Black Arrow is fire. Yes, indeed. Black Arrow is great. I love the platform.
Yeah, very cool stuff.
But on that note, we will do one last round of fireworks. And we're going to have to close the stream because it's already 11 o'clock. So we'll be back next week. It's been a great one, guys. I think I really like this session. Even though, we didn't print profits, but that's part of trading. And yeah, we'll be back next week.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care.
Bye, guys.